I can never forgive the Klingons for the death of my boy. I'm over it. Star Trek: The Undiscovered Country is the final movie that we're going to be reviewing in the original series set of movies. So the question is this movie any good? And to be perfectly honest, yeah, it's pretty good. It really wraps up this entire series, excluding the motion picture and the final frontier, really, really well. It's a kind of a full circle storyline that really shows and deals a lot with like moral choices, ethics, kind of racial issues and things like that. And it's got a really, really deep and rich storyline that really wraps up and concludes really well at the end of this movie. The basic premise for this movie is the Klingons' main power source has exploded, and it's kind of flooding their ozone with radiation. So basically, the Klingon Empire is going to be extinct within the next 50 years if the Federation doesn't agree to help them and kind of give them space within Federation territory, which, as you can imagine, brings up a lot of issues internally with Starfleet. You know, Klingons being the sworn enemy of Starfleet for pretty much forever, now are coming to them in search for help. So you get a lot of kind of ethical issues and moral kind of scenarios in this movie, whether you help your enemy or you just let them die, as Kirk so just proudly says in this movie. And at the end of it, you really do get to see the choices that are made throughout this movie and how they affect everybody, and it's really, really good. The best part about this movie, in my opinion, is just how it does touch on a lot of those kind of situations that are still happening as well, especially with like race and ethics and things like that. It shows that two groups of people really do need to come together to be a stronger overall picture. Now, the cool thing about this movie is it kind of becomes this like conspiracy spy kind of thing. Because, you don't know who's conspiring to kill the Chancellor, who's Chancellor Gorkon, who gets killed, who was kind of the bringer of peace from the Klingon Empire. So there's this assassination that happens of him, and Kirk and McCoy kind of take the fall. But you don't know really who's behind it or who's involved right up to the very end. And it's actually a really good twist in this movie. And it makes for a very interesting, almost like a mystery movie. Like, it's really kind of fun that you're, I was trying to piece it together the first time that I watched this. And it's really, really fun. Now, throughout this movie, you do get really good moments. And I've said, sometimes movies are just built of really strong moments. And this movie, to me, has a couple. For starters, you get the dinner scene, which is a very famous scene between the Klingons and Starfleet. Gorkon's people. And are the Gorkons the things from Small Soldiers? Or am I getting that right? I don't know. But you get this dinner scene between Gorkon's people and Kirk's people, and it's really awkward because they kind of hate each other, but they have to kind of play nice. They have to get along, and they're kind of backhanding, insulting each other. It's this really awkward, intense kind of scene. And you get General Chang, or General Edelweiss over here. Oh my god, that's a Sound of Music reference. But you get General Chang over here who's quoting Shakespeare all the time. That's one thing that I never understood in this movie was the Klingons hate humanity, but they love our shit. It's you've never experienced Shakespeare until you've read it in its original Klingon. What does that mean? Why would you guys like our stuff? It's our stuff. You hate us, but you like our poetry, I guess, and plays? I know Klingons are all about opera, but that just always seemed really weird to me, that he's sitting there quoting Shakespeare and he's spinning around in his chair. It's just weird. Another great moment in this movie is the court scene where Kirk and McCoy are on trial, and again, it really wraps up both their characters kind of in a nutshell really, really quick. It really shows how Kirk, throughout his entire career, has been insubordinate, gone against kind of rules and regulations, for usually for the benefit of the Federation. But it does show that he's kind of a renegade, and that's ultimately why he is found kind of guilty and sent to the prison planet, which is another really good chunk of this movie. That whole prison scene, kind of on this ice planet, is really cool, and you get discount Halle Berry over here. I have no idea who this is. she changes into like a Wookiee and then into like Kirk, and they fight and she dies. Whatever, we're just moving on. And probably my favorite scene in this movie is the space battle between the cloaked bird of prey and the Enterprise, and then the Excelsior comes in. It's really cool, it's really poetic, and it's a really innovative way that they end up taking out Chang's ship. And then ultimately you get the final kind of finale in this movie where they save the Lady Chancellor and all is well, and like everybody kind of comes together. And again, that's what I mean by it wraps up really well. They all decide that peace is in everybody's best interest, which is a very good thing going forward just for humanity nowadays. Now, in terms of characters, again, we get a couple new characters in this. You get Chancellor Gorkon, who's killed pretty quick in this movie. He's the bringer of peace from the Klingon Empire. He's bumped out. You don't really get a big feel for him, although you feel that he is very genuine about his offer to the Federation. You also get General Chang over here, who is played by Christopher Plummer. That's probably why they had him like saying so much Shakespeare stuff. They're like, he's a Shakespearean actor. We'll just give him some like Hamlet to say. Whatever, he's cool. He's a very good villain, actually. And I was kind of sad to see that he ultimately perishes at the end of this movie. But again, he's very poetic. He's very cold. He's very cunning, and he's a really good kind of counterbalance to Kirk. He's kind of that yin to his yang, so to speak. And of course, we get Lieutenant Samantha Jones over here. Oh, that's a Sex and the City reference. I've never seen that show. She plays Lieutenant Valeris, who is awesome. Kind of similar to Saavik in The Wrath of Khan. She plays really well off Spock. And there's a really good moment at the end of this movie where Spock's doing the mind meld on her. And it's really intense, and it's kind of uncomfortable to watch, actually. But it's really powerful. It's really good stuff. And it shows that Spock can be pretty cold and pretty, aggressive when he needs to be. And it's, again, she plays a really good character in this movie. And overall, I really like the bridge design in this movie. It's probably my favorite bridge design from all these movies. It's very colorful. It's got a lot of blues and greens. It's not hard to see. Like sometimes in The Wrath of Khan, when it goes to red alert, it's kind of hard to see what's going on. This is a very well lit bridge. It's it's very colorful. Everybody's wearing kind of the Wrath of Khan uniforms, and it really sets the tone and fits the mood and everything of the in this movie. Not to mention you get to see kind of the Excelsior, which is one of my favorite ships. Which why isn't that in a series yet? Discovery, put that in your show. Just do the Excelsior already. And one of the honorable mentions that I will give a nod to is you get Captain Sulu in this movie. Because just George Takei just really wanted to be a captain, I guess. There's no reason why he's a captain. He just kinda is. So overall, I'm going to give Star Trek The Undiscovered Country a 7.5 out of Transwarp. Whoa, that makes sense, 'tis the Excelsior's in this movie. Whoa! It's a 7.5. It's good. It's a well-paced movie. It's fun. It's colorful. It's got a really good storyline to it. Above everything else, it's got a fantastic story. And that's what I love about this particular Star Trek movie. So if I were to rank all these movies kind of in my favorites, it would probably go The Voyage Home, Wrath of Khan, Undiscovered Country, Search for Spock, the motion picture, and then The Final Frontier, which is funny because it's the final one. It's the one at it's the final, whatever. One of the greatest things in this movie, by the way, is we get a wicked cameo from, Red Foreman over here. That's who that is! And as always, thank you so much for watching, and if you haven't done it already, please hit that subscribe button for me. Don't forget to give me the little thumbs up there, and always feel free to leave me a comment. And again, let me know what you think of The Undiscovered Country, and hell, let me know what you think of all the Star Trek movies, just kind of overall, and what your favorites are. Kind of list them in order, and what you loved, what you didn't love, things that you would change or improve upon, anything like that. I'd love to hear from you guys. So thank you again so much for watching, and I'll see you all on the very next episode of Star Trek in the Cinematic Frontier. Until then, make it so, number one.
Oh,
he's an admiral now.
Starfleet Command, welcoming you to Memory Alpha. I am proud to present this history of the Federation, commissioned by the Council of the United Federation of Planets, on the 150th anniversary of its incorporation.
Oh, we did it! We got through the original series of movies. I am never watching The Final Frontier ever again.